Hey everybody. So if you're new on my Facebook, you need to go to jillyjuice.com, JILLYJUICE.com, and go get the book. It's either an ebook or it's a paperback book. Ebook is electronic. You have to download the application and then you'll be able to read the book. Okay? That's the ebook. There's an actual paperback book. Okay? I'm going to be revising it. I'm going to take out the anti-vax portion of it and then update the information to bring in more new information that we've been discussing and realizing the last 5 months, 4 months, 3 months. And that's coming down the pipeline. Okay? But if you're new on my Facebook and you want to join in on the discussion in my group where you can ask questions, I'm not going to tell you what you should do with any of your issues because the J Juice does not discriminate. Everybody has massive amount of viruses in their body. Massive amount of viruses. And it's causing mutations. It's causing IBS. It's causing Crohn's. It's causing every single issue you can think of. Okay? So if you have an issue that's been diagnosed by a doctor, go do a titer test. You will see correlation equals causation. And then you can do reverse research and look up, well, I have eczema and psoriasis. What virus is associated with eczema and psoriasis? Oh, wow, it's Epstein-Barr. Oh, it's HPV. Oh, it's herpes. Oh, it's this. Holy crap. Okay? So if you want to get more info on the science behind my information, get the book, watch my YouTube videos. If you watch my YouTube videos from the last 30 or 40 or 20, or go back to the beginning and watch them in succession, it's going to take you probably a week or so if you actually sit down and watch it all in one sitting. You will see then my thought process develop. You will see this juice has everything you could possibly need to disperse the viruses, reprogram your body so it's not misfiring and causing these different issues, okay? And then you got to deal with pain. All right? And that's the big thing that most people are not really aware of. They think this is some kind of cure-all. J-Juice is not a cure. This is not something that has to be FDA approved because it's food that's also a probiotic. Okay? All you got to do is go get this juice tested in a lab. And when I did it back last year, when I had to go answer to my own government who was asking me to substantiate all of my claims, I got the juice tested. Guess what? 13 million colony-forming units of actual lactic acid. And it's the best probiotic out there because it's with the cabbage and the kale. And you have the electrolytes from the salt and the nutrients from the cabbage and kale. And you got the water. Okay? So nutrition doesn't discriminate. Every single issue a person has in their body has to do with a virus or some kind of pathogenic bacteria. And all of those viruses and those pathogenic bacteria then alter your body. And then what happens is then you start having stagnation in your filtration process. You now start seeing imbalances in your minerals. And now you're over-mineralized or heavy metal. You have a heavy metal, abundance of heavy metals, and it causes you to lower your immune system. And then you're now more open to viruses to come and exploit weaknesses in your body. And then you also have yeast issues, candida issues, lowers your immune system. It allows virus to come in and then dock to all of your different organs and systems and upload corrupt programming causing Crohn's disease, IBS, Parkinson's, MS, lupus, fibromyalgia. I'm thinking of all the other diseases that are out there. Every single disease out there has to do with a virus related. Every single one. So if you want to know more about this, go to my website. It has, I have YouTube videos. I have a bunch of them. Watch those. Get the book, get the paperback book. Send me the receipt. My email address is on the website. Okay, Gilly Juice 1974. I'm not going to go into details, Dylan, because I can't promise you that anything is going to be what you expect, okay? Everybody has all these different diseases and issues and symptoms, and you have to understand how the J Juice works. Everything in my book talks about pain is healing. You're going to have to deal with pain. You're going to have to deal with symptoms until you get that virus out of your body. This is not something that you're going to see, a whole reversal and everything tomorrow. I'm 3 years into this, but it took me 45 years to get this mutated. It took me 3 years to finally kick out the viruses that are causing my issues. So this is not a cure. This is not something that you're going to be saying, okay, I'm going to do this today and tomorrow I'm going to be perfect. Oh no, this is going to take a minute. And not everybody has the stomach for this. You know why? Because they want a shortcut. They're not going to like the way it smells. They're not going to like the way it tastes. As far as my juice, you may not like the diet because the diet can be very bland. So you understand the differences between the different foods that are antibiotic, okay, and the healing symptoms. You're going to have to figure out how to deal with this. Now, some of you can only do a little bit at a time, but here's the thing. First, get the book, Dylan. I'm not going to promise anyone that you're going to get a reversal in your situation because it all depends upon how much you understand, for one. Number two, how committed you are to understand this information and take it on and adopt it. This is not some naturopathic protocol that you take something and call me in the morning and everything is great tomorrow. Oh no, this is going to be a process. And it's not something that you can ask for somebody else. The person that wants to know this information has to be one to read the book, has to be the one to join the group, has to be the one to really, truly want to understand this. Because this is something that is not just for Crohn's. A person could have one major issue that they know of, but they'd have like 50 or 60 in the background that have to come to surface. And the body is going to prioritize what it's going to have to deal with first. And so you're trying to deal with Crohn's, and guess what? You're going to have major headaches when you're on this protocol. Guess what? You're going to have other issues when you're on this protocol. Because it's bringing to surface what it is that you've had that is a weakness, that the viruses that have created all these different weaknesses. And then guess what? Those viruses lay the foundation for cancer, disease, and chronic illness. Candida lays the foundation for cancer, disease, and chronic illness. Viruses out of control when the body is so weak, it turns into cancer. That's when cancer becomes like a major C word, is when those viruses get so out of control and they've now programmed the body to where you're feeling like you're on this death trajectory. And that's when the system does the cancer count. And they're like, oh, wow, this thing is taking over. These viruses have taken over. And if we don't interrupt the programming, guess what? You're on your deathbed. And so that's when they do aggressive chemo. They may do aggressive cannabis. Depends upon what you choose. But not everybody's a candidate because they have too many antibodies and it'll destroy them. So just want, these are for new people. Anybody that's new. This is not a cure. It just doesn't deal with Crohn's. It deals with every single weakness you have. And if you have Crohn's, you have so many other issues that you may not be ready to deal with. PTSD, mental health issues, emotional issues, everything from the past, present, and future. Okay? So this is not just a cure for some specific issue. We are not the allopathic holistic world compartmentalizing your body saying we have this cure for Crohn's, we have this cure for autism, we have this cure for this and cure. No, it's not what it is. Nutrition doesn't discriminate. And this is what the J Juice is. It's strategic, aggressive nutrition. And guess what? Pain's involved. And yes, there's waterfalls. You have to push out all of the crappy stuff out of your body. You have to deal with mucus. It's not enjoyable. I'm telling you that. It's not enjoyable. But once you get over the first trimester, you start getting used to it and you start expecting the pain and you start enjoying the pain because you know your body's healing. Now, the thing with the Ebola stuff. Now, you guys seen that I put down all the stuff with ProMed. ProMed is all the new and emerging viruses are coming to surface out there. And the CDC is keeping track. Well, you've seen the numbers, like 125 cases of exposure in healthcare workers. Okay? And they've been exposed to the Ebola virus. And guess what? These healthcare workers live in the West. Guess what happens when you're exposed to a very communicable, aggressive disease like Ebola? Okay? When the body starts aging and degrading and you have these viruses in your body and you're not taking care of yourself, guess what? Those viruses are going to replicate, agglutinate, and then guess what? You're going to become communicable. And then Ebola is going to be the next pandemic. Because unless they take all of those workers and everybody in that area, see, it doesn't even matter. Here's the thing. If there is an Ebola virus in the community, and yeah, they get everybody vaccinated, but these people are going to age if they don't get a hold of their nutrition to then keep those antibodies at bay and to strengthen their body. So guess what? That Ebola virus is going to be a pandemic in the future because people are aging. Their lifestyles are not taking care of themselves. And guess what? These viruses will come to surface and they will become communicable. Those that are not doing J-juice exposed to these viruses are going to be communicable as their body breaks down. Just so you know, you'll watch the ProMed and you see these different diseases and they're keeping track of who's been exposed to these crazy viruses out there in the Congo, and then all the peacekeepers are coming in trying to vaccinate the villagers so it doesn't come out of control. But here's the thing, these villagers that have been exposed to these viruses, they are going to eventually become communicable because they're going to be aging. And when you're aging, your body breaks down. And guess what happens? You start contracting cancer, disease, and chronic illness, and you're pathogenic. I'll share it on my thing when I'm done, Dylan, okay? But as far as the YouTube channel. But go to my website. I mean, it has it there somewhere, but that's fine. But yeah, this is what I'm saying. Anybody exposed to any of these viruses, so in our society, every single vaccine and every single virus that they talk about, we've all been exposed to it. Some of us will be able to fight it off. Others of us are very complacent. Hey, Barbara. Complacent and really not caring about really doing J-juice because you fixed your little issue and you think that that's all J-juice is a remedy. And you've been exposed because you're a world traveler and you've been exposed to all these different diseases. And then guess what? As you're aging and eating all this food and not doing J-juice and not helping anybody around you do J-juice, you're going to become communicable. You'll be diagnosed with something and then you'll become communicable and pathogenic. And then guess what? You're on that trajectory and it's going to be harder to get back on the protocol because your body is weaker. These are for those of you who knew me way back in the beginning, who've completely now done your own thing, probably not doing J-juice because it's too hard and your lifestyle is too, is too fun, which is fine, great. But you got to make room for this. And if you don't look like you did back when you were 30 and you're steadily gaining weight and aging, what's the point of doing J-juice? You're now contributing to the pathogenesis of our society. If you know about this information, it's your duty to understand it and to exemplify it. It really is. And those that don't exemplify this and present this information, buy the book or get the book and do the protocol and show what this juice can do, you're contributing to the degradation of humanity. I know it sounds so like, oh my God, but it's so true because you see what's around you. Everyone's dying around you from preventable diseases. People are dying at 51. Look at Beth Chapman, whatever. Dog the Bounty Hunter. His wife, Beth, died from throat cancer. That's a virus. That's probably HPV or herpes that got out of control. She didn't have to die at 51. But this is what's happening because because people are not taking this seriously and we are not getting this information out there. So people are going to die around us because we're not taking this seriously. We think we have all this time. Oh yeah, I'm going to be religious and do this and do that. And I have all this time because there's not. No, it takes more than spirituality. It also takes nutrition. Being spiritual is one thing, but applying nutrition is another thing. So it's fine people can be religious and have with their religion, okay, but really you want to exemplify what God truly wants. He wants his people to live. Not preach about how life is so great, but yet you're dying inside and your body's degrading. But God wants you to live. He doesn't want you to die. Okay? So anyways. All right. Get the book. Watch the YouTube channel. The J Juice has the probiotics. Probiotics kill viruses. The right probiotic. You don't want the probiotic. This is for Dylan. You don't want kombucha, apple cider vinegar, because it's paired with the wrong thing. Kombucha has sugar, feeds yeast. Vinegar is fermented ethanol. It is carcinogenic. Wrong probiotic. Alcohol. Wrong probiotic. Yogurt. Don't use milk as the probiotic, okay? Because if milk or yogurt was the best probiotic out there to beat all the cancer disease and chronic illness, we wouldn't have cancer because we know how many people eat yogurt. And obviously Lactobacillus acidophilus is not strong enough. The strongest probiotic, the best one out there, is the J Juice. Because it's paired with pink Himalayan salt, which is the electrolytes. It has ancestral knowledge because it's not subject to the ocean's fluctuating elements. It's based in the mountains that's being blasted out and then sold to you on the open market. It has minerals. It has sodium. Don't use sea salt or table salt or mineral salt or cell salts. Only use pink Himalayan salt. Cabbage and kale have massive amounts of vitamins in it. When you break it down with the water and the cabbage, or the water, the salt, and the time, temperature, and ratios of the recipe, it gets broken down to a pre-digested state to where your body can absorb it. And it's basically clean fuel. You don't have to break it down because it's already been broken down for you through the chemical process, the fermentation process. And people's bodies are so mutated that they won't be able to really break it down to get bioavailable nutrition. And so they're only getting maybe, I'm putting it out there, maybe like 20%, 30%, 40% access to nutrition, which is why people are dying. So with the J Juice, you're getting the water, the nutrition, the electrolytes, and the probiotics. And probiotics, I have proven, have killed viruses. They also keep yeast at bay and candida at bay. The electrolytes energize the body. It's in the salt. The minerals, you have specific elemental composition. Okay? And then you have the water as a carrier for us, carrying in the nutrition and electrolytes and all the probiotics and carrying out all of the viruses, the bacteria, the parasites, and the candida and any other excess waste that your body doesn't need. And then when you're thirsty, you drink water. Okay? So the diet is a specific diet, so you understand what's antibiotic out there, spices and lemons and limes. And we want to mitigate sugar, but not too much. So there is like fruit and potatoes on there, but but if you're coming in with an imbalance, like Crohn's or other things, then you have a candida imbalance. You don't want to feed the candida, which is excess sugar. So that's why the diet is the way it is. I know people cheat and they go off the diet, but the diet's in the book. And really the main thing is drink the juice. And it's not going to taste good. And Crohn's, something where, you got to do it slowly. Because it's hard to get down and people have issues through their digestive system. You don't want a diarrhea, but this is not diarrhea. This is actually waterfalls. It may seem like it's diarrhea, but it's not. Totally different context. So in the book, it talks the difference between diarrhea and waterfalls. Okay? So there's a lot to this, but that's really like the short of the long of it. the quick and dirty, the cliff notes. All right. But yeah, with all of these emerging diseases, and we have healthcare workers going overseas and dealing with these to save the villages from these pandemics, they're exposed to it. They're carriers. It's going to come to the US at some point, you guys. When you follow all the different emerging viruses and diseases out there, you know it's coming stateside at some point. Now's the time before you have more exotic diseases, because you look at the vaccine schedule, it's double and triple, because that's how many viruses that are mutating. All right. And I think the next like 10 years, it's going to be double and triple the vaccine schedule. So you might as well just dilute the antibodies, reset your body so you're not being programmed by all these damn viruses, and deal with the healing. If not, lifespans are going to be cut short. They already are. 51 is really young to be dying from throat cancer. 51! That's like 6 years now from my age. 6 years. I was probably headed that way. But then, Beth Chapman, she's a bigger woman than I am, had a lot more issues. I wasn't surprised. But you can see the programming in people already, what their lifespan's going to be. Okay? So let this be a little bit of a lesson, of a warning, of a something. So if you have different issues and diseases, it's just laying the groundwork for a major, major event. You better nip it in the bud now before it becomes a major issue. If not, it's going to be harder to come out of that hole. Some of you may already be beyond because you don't really want to deal with your health issues. And I understand. It's not easy. Some of you have a lot of issues. And when you are extremely obese, when you are older, elderly, it is harder to really be healing for that long period of time. I've been doing this for 3 years. Granted, I only had PMDD. I was O positive the last time I had a blood test. Okay? Which means I didn't have a lot of surface marker antigen. I only tested positive for the Rh factor. But I also had hormonal imbalances. I had major candida, which then laid the groundwork for that. It would lower my immune system. So any other viruses and diseases that I've been exposed to, it would have changed the programming and then accelerated my death process as far as contracting cancer. That's it. That was in my future. Lymphoma was in my future. Okay? So, some of you have very, very obvious programming. If you don't nip it in the bud now, you're going to see something down the road. A thunderstorm warning. Woo. Anyways, that's over there in PA. But all right, you guys, this is for Dylan. Just go get the book. Go to my YouTube channel, and I'll paste it, in this thread, and just watch the videos. Get the book. Send me the receipt. I'll add you into the group, and then you can get support. You'll probably get contacted by all the different trolls that want to say, oh my God, Jillian's going to kill you with all the salt. You understand what salt's balancing force is? It's water. You have salt, you drink water. Okay? The only time you would die from salt is somebody withheld water from you and they forced salt down your throat. So if you're not being looked after by some psycho who would then shove salt down your throat but not give you water, you're going to be fine. But these crazy people who think salt's going to kill you have this mentality that somebody is forcing salt down somebody's throat but not giving them water. I don't know what childhood they grew up in where somebody forced salt down their throat and withheld water from them, but that's the mentality they're coming from. That's what they're projecting out there. Some pretty crazy childhoods out there that they're projecting that. I would not want to know what they dealt with for them to think that the salt's going to kill them. But that's what's coming from these crazy trolls. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.